Did you realize that there is a secret aspect to each woman has a unique set of stimuli that, when comprehended, can change the power dynamic entirely? In most men overlook this in your advantage, but those who ever masters it now will never forget it. Women don't want to know the secrets I'll tell them. To understand and have faith in me, once you recognize this, you won't ever have to stay with me and chase again, because this might completely alter everything. 1. The necessity of validation is essential. Function in relationships, but a lot of recognize its actual nature. Women frequently seek approval rather than merely attention, but as a means of confirming their value and experience a sense of belonging. Society has conditioned women to associate outside approval with internal worth, using beauty standards, likes, or even compliments on social media from strangers, which is why acknowledgement seems to be a form of emotional money. However, the paradox is that a man can be more freely provides approval without her having to earn it. The less useful it gets too noticeable, you have to give validation in a genuine and limited manner. This is not an indication of withholding. Compliments intended to manipulate, but only making them an offer when they actually matter. For instance, if she dons something novel or makes an attempt draw attention to the particulars that I'm not sure what drew your interest. That dress is the focus, but it's flawless. For you, when you use precise language, feel unique and priceless, in contrast to generic praise she could get from others. And confirmation isn't always about your words, but occasionally it's about being present when you're totally involved, listening in a discussion without diversions, and giving her a sense of being heard. You're providing her with a kind of approval, much more significant than words, but the balance is never allow approval to become biased. If she demands continuous assurance, but provides, she might be stealing you if you don't return the favor. Characteristic 1. The self-belief she needs. Acknowledge that this equilibrium sets you stand out as a self-respecting man. Whilst appreciating her, the emotional reaction trap is the second effort. Women are adept at interpreting feelings and putting a man's character to the test with them. Emotional responses frequently disclose more concerning a man than what he says, whether it's a light-hearted teasing of an apparently innocent comment or an abrupt removal of. These moments of attention aren't always random. Frequently, they are subtle tests to evaluate your emotional stability, and unfortunately, a lot of males lack confidence. Into the overreaction trap, become defensive, irritated, or excessively accommodating. So how can you become proficient in first? Comprehend the emotional reaction game, that your greatest strength is frequently stillness. Tool, if she makes a controversial statement, like "You're constantly so busy, perhaps I should look for someone who has more time." Leap to defend oneself or go into too much detail. Instead, take a moment to grin and say, calmly, "I'm confident that you'll choose the greatest option for." This response accomplishes 2 goals for you. It demonstrates that she hasn't shook you. Comment, which you will not participate in sentimental manipulation, another crucial component of steer clear of the emotional reaction trap, by identifying trends. If she regularly raises the same issues or situations, it's probably a test to elicit a response. Showing constancy, for instance, if she don't whine about your priorities. Make an instant schedule change to, instead of ignoring her, please her. Sentiments while restating your borders. I can appreciate your feelings, but I find these pledges to be significant. Your comments' regularity serves to strengthen your dependability and emotional strength. 3. The will to security is a fundamental necessity. The layers of any connection go beyond the surface. Financial security, possibly the most obvious form, but psychological and emotional stability carry even more weight. Women desire to believe they can depend on a man who only to meet material needs, but for decision-making based on emotional stability and leadership. But a lot of males mistakenly believe that security is just pleasant or accommodating, which can eventually backfire. Real security starts with confidence. Picture this. She expresses her concerns regarding her work or friendships. A common reply could be providing solutions or dismissing her concerns. Try this instead, and I can understand why. That has been bothering you. How are you? Believe that this is something we should do collectively. Not only demonstrates compassion, but also strengthens her faith in your capacity to overcome obstacles. With her reliable is an additional security pillar if you're a person who changes a lot, plans, revokes promises, or makes promises that you are unable to fulfill, unintentionally weakening her feeling of stability as opposed to creating a reputation for trait 2. The wonders of mystery dependability. If you promise to go somewhere or follow through on something, over time, even with the little things, these steps establish a strong basis. Last but not least, stay clear of the trap of overcompensation, even though it's normal to wish to safeguard and offer. Doing so at putting your personal needs last results in an imbalance, such as if she's constantly worried about what lies ahead. Reassure her while keeping an eye on your aims that state, "I'm here for you, but let's concentrate on the here and now so we can create the world that we both want." This helps her to balance her emotional requirements, with your guidance supporting your function as a constant in her life. 4. The vulnerability of curiosity is frequently referred to as the women's innate spark of attraction. Attracted to something they don't completely recognize, and when a man exhibits, he puts himself at risk of losing. This curiosity does not imply playing. Playing games or being dishonest means adding facets to your personality that over time invite her to delve further. One effective strategy to pique interest is through well-crafted narratives for example, if she inquires about your history partnerships, stay away from getting into a lengthy story, as opposed to saying, "I've learned a lot from them, particularly regarding my values. Perhaps I will tell you the whole tale." This will eventually sow the seed of curiosity. Leaving her curious about the key is to divulge enough information to interest her without giving everything away. Curiosity also permeates your everyday life if you're working toward a goal or pastime. Don't think you have to explain in detail that you have been working late evenings, but she's not sure why. Therefore, she's probably to inquire when she will retain your response. Simple. "I'm engaged in an intriguing project, but when the time comes, I'll reveal more." Yes, this strategy keeps her involved in your travels without disclosing everything up. Ultimately, preserve a component of routines that are unpredictable can get boring curiosity. Therefore, add improvisation to your conversations, whether they are about planning an unexpected excursion or sharing a surprising realization about yourself. These moments that maintain the relationship's vibrancy and interacting with a man who maintains a woman. Positive guessing generates a feeling of exploration that enhances the 5th relationship is the dread of losing control, and the worry over losing it is of the most underappreciated dynamics in partnerships. But a lot of women respect men who are self-assured and assertive. They also cherish a feeling of collaboration and impact, but when a man gives up too much control, regardless if due to a fear of confrontation or a wish to, please note that it causes an imbalance, can result in annoyance and resentment. To get through this, you have to first identify the control indicators. For instance, dynamics if she regularly tests limits, such as altering plans, rushing to make judgments, or at the last minute things conflict with your principles. It's an indication that she's pushing the boundaries of trait 3, the power dynamic. Is shifted by control. Her impact it's important to remain steadfast. Without resorting to violence, for example, if she gently alters her plans and says, "I cherish our time spent together, but unforeseen circumstances make planning difficult, therefore let's stick to what we concurred." Leading is another crucial component. Clarity. Women appreciate knowledgeable men, what they desire, and don't hesitate to. If you have an idea for the future, share it. Connection or a course you're attempting to convey it. I'm confident that this is where we're headed, and I want us to collaborate in order to make it occurs. Being a leader does not entail being in charge. Every element entails establishing a common vision in which she has faith. Lastly, keep in mind that control is frequently regarding perception if you're regular in your speech and actions are clear. Being mindful of your boundaries, you innately convey a feeling of power. Without using force, this equilibrium comforts her and reinforces your function as a competent and self-assured partner. 6. The strength of independence. Being independent is one of the most important but underappreciated qualities a man can own in a women in relationships are naturally attracted to men with their own objectives, pursuits and interests of men who are independent and not dependent on a connection to define who they are. Independence is a sign of power and traits of confidence that are admired by all. However, independence does not imply disregard either her or the relationship in question, preserving a strong feeling of identity in the collaboration. For example, if you've always had a strong interest in never allow fitness or artistic pursuits to give up those passions only to meet her wants, rather than allowing her to observe how much you cherish your "I love individuality," you might say, "I've been spending time with you, but excited to work out at the gym. It's where I regroup and concentrate today." Such words serve as a reminder to her that you're a driven and purposeful man. An additional element in fostering independence is maintaining an active social circle. A common error made by males is to forsake their connections when they go into a relationship that may result in reliance on their spouse for emotional satisfaction, rather than consistently get out with friends and engage in hobbies or network expertly. When she notices that you maintain a life apart from the partnership, not only establishes equilibrium, but also honor a man who is respected by others, will always seem more appealing. Finally, independence also includes women respect males who have emotional fortitude, can manage difficulties without collapsing. Split up if you're having a difficult time discuss your challenges at work or in life, but stay composed. This week hasn't been easy, but I'm devising a strategy to address. This demonstrates to her that when you're being vulnerable and human, you're also resilient and resourceful individual she can rely on, and admire 7 women who have a strong drive to progress, are attracted to males by nature who are constantly aiming for greater things, whether in trait 4, mastering emotions in a subtle way, their professional growth, personal growth, or even inside the actual real relationship growth is a symbol of advancement, is thrilling for a man who values development, conveys a strong message that he's not content to settle with mediocrity, and is always improving to become the greatest self-image as the initial stage to demonstrating progress by establishing objectives and, for example, explicitly communicating them, whether you're aiming for a promotion or sharing your experience of learning a new skill. I've been spending more time with her on this certification since I am aware of this will lead to new opportunities for me. Not only demonstrates your drive, but incorporates her into your development as well, giving her a sense of ownership for your accomplishment. Another method to show growth is by pushing oneself beyond your comfort zone, whether doing something new, reading books that make you think, or investigating various viewpoints, showing her that you're willing to adapt And you may claim that I've never been able to learn excellent at speaking in front of groups, but I join a group to make it better. It's awkward, but I look forward to the challenge. Phrases such as this demonstrate your bravery and dedication to personal development, attributes that she will genuinely respect. At last, keep in mind that growing is about more than just you. It's about how you encourage her and help her flourish. To appreciate and work toward her own objectives, her accomplishments, if she's thinking about a career change, but are hesitant to speak up as though you possess the abilities and motivation. You'd be fantastic at it, in my opinion, encouraging her aspirations while keeping up your own fosters a dynamic connection based on reciprocal development and honor. 8. The power of the quality of mystery is one that possesses captivated women for centuries. It's not about evading EVs or being stealthy. It's important to say just enough to pique her interest and keep her guessing. A man who divulges all personal information up front often loses the aspect of fascination that creates a bond. An intriguing method for fostering mystery is pace the amount of information you disclose. For instance, if she inquires about your early years or previous experiences, don't feel under any obligation to. Instead, spill everything in one sitting. Provide hints that encourage a deeper. There is a tale after the chats. Regarding my time in high school, that's both, I'll tell you. It's both embarrassing and hilarious. Sometimes this strategy keeps her fascinated and eager to learning more about you. In another way of mystery is uncertainty, which does not imply being not constant or trustworthy, but instead incorporating some spontaneity into your acts that take her by surprise with a thoughtful gesture or an unforeseen excursion, such as organizing a picnic in her preferred park. These small surprises demonstrate to her that you pay attention while maintaining the new and fascinating mystery in a relationship. Also pertains to your mannerisms. Men who radiate composed assurance and don't feel the must provide an explanation for each decision that is made. Much more fascinating if you're engaged in for instance, personal projects. Don't give up all the information right away. Say something like, "It's instead." Trait 5. Her hidden preferences for a man. Anything that truly excites me, I'll share more when I'm farther along. Holding back just enough allows you to produce a sense of curiosity that pulls her in. A closer look at the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are crucial in any partnership, although many males are ignored or misinterpreted. Fear establishing limits because they fear that it will actually drive her away. Healthy borders show esteem for oneself and lay the groundwork for respect for one another in the partnership, the initial stage of creating. Knowing your boundaries is essential. Non-negotiables are the principles or priorities that you won't sacrifice, like as your professional objectives, leisure time or friendships, for instance. If you cherish your weekend pastimes, make it obvious right away. I use Saturdays to rest and rejuvenate. Concentrate on my interests. They are significant to me. When you express boundaries, she is more likely to be respected if she is confident. The limits also play a role. If she raises her voice in a dispute or gently turns disrespectful, but